find the link here because I have to send this to my Patreon now, otherwise nobody comes here. So give me 5 minutes to start. I'm starting this in 5 minutes. Well, I'm talking to nobody right now, but if you're watching it after I was here, then you're gonna see this empty moment. So I'm just explaining that I have to send the links and things like that and set up my Patreon here. Okay, so give me 1 second. Today we're gonna paint John Lennon's face. And oops. See, I'm trying to set up things here. So we're gonna paint, and for painting I am going to use Genesis Heat Set color. That is this one's Genesis. Okay, give me just a second. No, I got it wrong. So I'm gonna use this darker skin color. I probably will use some blue. I'm looking to his pictures here on my computer in a big definition of it. So blue. I might use some purple, not sure. I just find out that purple actually have animal product on it. I have a bunch of purple here, but I'm not buying anymore, but I'm gonna use until it's done, because I don't know if everybody here knows, but I'm vegan and I'm replacing all of my products. I'm gonna use some red. Oops, I shake the camera. Okay, so some red. How do I have 2 people watching this? Okay, just a second. Let me finish to set up that here. And then I can go. So red, I'm talking and trying to talk and set up at the same time. It's kind of hard. So what other color? I might use some yellow ochre. Not sure yet. So I'm gonna leave all of those colors available, and let me see, black. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use black. Probably black to do the eyebrow and things like that. I never use pure black. I always mix up the black with some burnt umber. So I will probably mix it up. Just a second, my computer is freezing here. Publish now, publish now. Okay, I think I'm good now. So burnt umber, and let's see what else. There's also, so let me show again. Colors are here. There is, I want a skin color that matches his color. I always like to have, I think this one matches good. Let's see. Not quite. Must be a little bit lighter than that. Let's see another one. This one. I can mix up that one and this one, and I think I can get it there. You can always mix up colors. You don't need to have all the skin colors available. I also sometimes use this blush color. Beautiful baby color warm blush. So you can find Genesis in a lot of different websites. Some people have a smaller container like this one, but it's cheaper. So these are the difference of containers. It's a very expensive paint, but it takes forever to finish. So I bought these ones such a long time ago, and I still have them all. I still have like a lot of them, because we're going to dissolve this color a lot to use it. Because for painting dolls, we use very gentle and soft colors. And here, for this size of sculpting, it's so tiny that we cannot give like incredible details. But so we probably won't be using all the colors that we would use if it was a bigger sculpture. So let me start recording this with the other camera and we can get started. For dissolving the paint, you can use a clay softener. The clay softener is pretty good. I don't have it here. Mine is done, so I'm gonna be using mineral oil for mine. And again, I'm using my Johnson & Johnson because I still have it, because I bought it this when my daughter was a baby, and I didn't even buy, I think this one I got it from baby showers and stuff like that. So it's pretty old because we also don't use it a lot. It's a couple little drops. But Johnson & Johnson test on animals and use cancer products for kids, so don't buy Johnson & Johnson. I won't after this one is done. For sure I won't buy it anymore. And fine brushes too, it's also very good. Sometimes for this kind of sculpting we can't find very fine brushes. So what I do here, as you can see, is I cut from the top, the bottom here, so it doesn't mess up the tip, and then it gets pretty fine. It's hard to find fine brushes, and I am not kind of sculptress that takes a good care of my material because I'm pretty chaotic. So I forget to clean my brushes. Because I'm focusing what I'm doing, and then the brush just sits in there, and then when I see it's too late. So I just work with, like, you know, regular brushes, not very expensive, because I would feel terrible to mess up expensive brushes. And also, as I said, I'm replacing my material, and I just found a vegan brush that I am going to get it soon. Okay, so a couple different brushes here that we're gonna work with. And let me just set up my other camera so I can record that in case of, I don't know, maybe later on we'll do some, I don't know, maybe make a video, maybe edit some classes. I never know what I'm gonna do with those videos, but I like to make sure that I have it all in camera, so if I decide to do something, I have it. So here, I think I have it all centered right now. Is the video showing on Patreon right now? I hope it is. I posted there. There's 2 people here. Oh, yes, I didn't put a number. I forgot to put a number on the class, right? It's because I was talking to you here at the same time. So let me see if I can see that on YouTube, and there's a live chat. Yeah, there is a live chat on YouTube right now. So if you guys are watching this from Patreon, click on the watch it on YouTube. There's a little button on the video, I guess. Let me just check here. If you click on the video, I think you can go through YouTube, go straight through YouTube. My computer is frozen, so I can't see. You go straight through YouTube, and once you watch it on YouTube, there is a chat where we can talk. So if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, then you just ask me there, and I will answer. It will be my pleasure to answer. Okay, so hopefully you guys can find the chat, and we can talk at the same time. So, let's start recording here. So I already baked the face, and before I baked, I finished the jaw line here because I haven't done that, so I realized I didn't do it, so I just finished. And to do that properly, we can just follow the transparency there, and just copy the jawline. I didn't copy very well mine. I can still fix that. But anyway, yeah, so I'm not very concerned about mine actually, because it's gonna have a lot of hair and stuff. So so it's baked. I baked this for 20 minutes on 275 degrees Fahrenheit and 130 degrees Celsius. I don't know what is the measurement unity that you use in your country, so I'm saying the 2 of them. And usually it depends on the clay that you're using, so make sure to read the instructions and see how hot you have to use yours. Okay, so it's baked, and now we're gonna start painting with the Genesis set paint. So Genesis, for who doesn't know, is a paint that also goes in the oven, so it doesn't get dried until it's baked. And it's the only thing that can actually, like, trustful be painted over a baked polymer clay. If, oh, there's also airbrush and automotive paints like that, but if you don't have an airbrush, then you probably will need Genesis, or you have to paint with the own clay, dissolve the clay and paint it. But if you paint the sculpture before you bake, then you can use pastels, you can use other stuff, because it's going to be stain the clay and stay there after. Okay, so let's start. Let me stop shaking my phone here and let's get started. So I'm gonna be looking to my picture on my computer, so I won't be seeing the chat right now, but I'll make sure to take a look on the chat. Well, actually, let me see if I can put both here, because I did save the picture. So if you go on Google and search for John Lennon's face, you're gonna find a lot of good pictures that are colored and big size pictures, and you can zoom in and then you can see like all the details for it. So I always like to start doing some shade to give a little bit of depth, and then I can see better his features, and I can after put some coloring. So this is not the right way to do, it's just the way I do. So I'm gonna use this darker skin color. So Genesis have a lot of different tons of skin colors paint, and you can also mix them up to reach what you want. So I have 3 different skin colors here, so I have more there, but I'm gonna use this darker one, and this is gonna be good enough for my shading. I think I have even a darker one here. Let me check. I think that one is even darker, or might be the same. I think it's the same. And if you want darker too, you can always mix up with burnt umber or blue. Blue is a good way to shade, actually. I should try to do with blue today. Actually, the picture that I'm looking there, it's pretty bluish, greenish, purplish. It's not a very brownish. So yeah, I'm gonna mix these 2 colors. Let's try that. So it's different from Emmy too, because you guys that are on my Patreon have the possibility to watch Amy Winehouse class that is slowlier. There's more anatomy on it. So again, I'm gonna repeat that. If you want to get some training, start watching my videos on my YouTube channel that it explained all the anatomy parts, and then watch Amy Winehouse, and then for last you watch John Lennon. I don't know after John Lennon if I'm gonna have some other classes that are like slowlier, but John Lennon is not very slow. So I mixed up here. Let me get my, I usually use my glass on my table, so to put my paint and stuff, but to put on the camera, it's easier if I can use my, how do you call this, tile, yeah. So this is just a tile, and this is good because it's white and we can see the color that we created here. So you see it's a little bit of brown with a little bit of blue, and this blue name is Blue Vein from Beautiful Baby as well. So yeah, blue and brown, not really brown, but like a very dark skin color here. And you get this kind of I don't even know what color is that, but anyway, then I'm gonna dip my brush on a little bit of mineral oil, and I'm going to soften that color. There you go. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, kind of like a gray. If I think it's too dark, I can always change it. Put more mineral oil to get it lighter, or more skin color, and keep on changing. So there it is. I'm going to start with, just a second here, if I Don't connect, don't put the cameras in the right spot. I will end up getting my hand out of one of them. So, is this focused? I think so. So let's see if I can see what I'm doing here, because the cell phone is right in front of my eyes. But I'm going to put around his eyes. Inside, I mean, because it's the deeper part. Some here, and with this I'm gonna do like a contour to his nose. And go in there. Go around the wings. And then after I do that, I get dry brush. I hope this one is dry, I don't know. As I said, I forget to clean my brushes and stuff. And then I'm going to spread it out. There you go. Just spread out. So as you can see, it's very, very gentle. Actually, it's not that gentle like it's showing on the camera. With my eyes here, I can see a little bit more. I don't know, the camera is not really capturing. Let me turn one of the lights off to see if it captures better. There you go. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you can see here. So, difference. And yeah, it's kind of like a very soft and gentle shading. Hi, Patricia. Patricia can always find me on the chat. So I'm gonna get my finer brush here, the one that I cut it, and see how this is gonna go. So I'm gonna do the same thing in the other side with a finer brush. Get in there. So as you guys can see, it's really, really soft. I actually learned some new techniques, and next course I can teach you guys my new learning stuff. I'm always studying and learning new stuff. I never stop myself, and there is not another way to get good. It's keep on your studying. So I'm seeing some wrinkles in here, and I'm just going with the paint and I don't know, making the wrinkles darker here, like with paint. I don't even remember if I actually marked those wrinkles on the clay, but even if I didn't, we can always pretend with painting. I don't remember if I did. I'm just going around the eyes. Again, right, the eyes might be hiding on the glass. So, I don't know, I made some dark glasses here. I'm gonna show how I made. I was just testing different stuff. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it black again. As I said, sculpting, when you sculpt, it's not like you start and you know exactly what you're gonna do and that's exactly the final result. At least I am not like that. When I sculpt, it's kind of like the thing has its own life. The thing, I don't know, just tell me like, hey, I don't want this kind of sunglasses, please give me the other ones, it looks better. So it's almost like they talk to me. And yeah, I think John didn't like the glasses I made black. I think he might want a little bit more transparent, or I'll show you guys what I did here. Let me show you guys. Hi, pretty. So there it is. This is the sunglasses I made. I'm gonna show you guys how I did it. And yeah, I didn't like the colors. It's kind of like a bluish, and if I try to change, it's gonna be too dark. So I don't know. And I think John kind of wants to show his eyes a little bit. So I'm gonna do different ones, and then we choose it. Put on his face and choose which one is better. So you guys can see here, it's shading his face and making it looks like there is actually wrinkles and giving some life to the sculpture. The only bad thing about painting with Genesis, I mean, it's not bad, but it might take longer than if you do other kind of paintings, because you can't really go straight and keep on doing. You kind of have to bake and stop and bake, make one layer and bake. So you paint in layers. So for live streaming, it's kind of a pain because I have to stop all the time to bake, and then I have to wait to cool it down. And you guys have to kind of like go and come back. So yeah, it might be bad because of that. So I'm just shading a little bit of his eyebrow right now. I need another image because this one, oh, I found it. The one I had didn't show the eyebrow. There was hair right in front of his eyebrow, so I couldn't really see the shape of it. It's quite thick. We can also give volume to this eyebrow if you want, with some gel or some clay, but it's good to paint it first so you kind of can see better. And also, once you put the eyebrow, you can see the person better. Person starts showing up for you. So yeah, in this one I didn't use the eyes, so we don't have an iris, so I'm gonna have to paint the iris too. So it's quite different of Amy Winehouse, which is good, so you guys have like more than one option to learn. And yeah, this is one thing about me. I never get stuck on a technique. I'm always, I don't know, always trying different things and doing whatever I think it's gonna be easier for that specific face, or it depends on the facial expression, because as John Lennon didn't have eyes showing so much, then I didn't really need to use the eyes that go in there, the eyeball. So also what I do for eyebrow after painting, I always get my tool, and I use this dentist tool a lot for everything, but you just need a needle, and you can go there and kind of scratch a bit, clean up if the shape is not what you expect it to be. And yeah, at some point it's going to be alright. So I'm going to put some shade on here. I'm looking to his picture and trying to see the shades in there, trying to copy. There, I can see some. I got the wrong picture. Let me go back to the other one. There it is. I'm gonna put some shade on his mouth as well. So the corner of the mouth. I'm out of the camera. So I always put this darker, either if it's brown or this gray that we're using here, it doesn't matter what color. I always start putting depth. I hate this word. I can never get it right. So I can always, and I need to use it a lot. But anyway, I always put the deeper part on his face dark. So that's gonna show me better my sculpture, what I did, the shapes that I added to his face. So corner of the mouth, inside the mouth, with very carefully to don't mess up the teeth. And you don't need to go at once. You can always go slow and add a little bit. If you think you need more, then you add it after. Don't rush yourself. Go slow and just add the shades that you actually can see on the person's face. Give yourself the time to figure out all the colors, because it is not something that you will look and see right away. He has some very different features in here. He has this right there. And also what you can do is, if you see that some part is actually lighter and you add some clay, you can always clean up with your tool. Be careful to don't scratch. Or you can use what I do here. When it's very tiny things, I get a toothpick and I put a little bit of cotton around. It doesn't need to be from a Q-tip. It could be just cotton, regular. I just don't have, I actually have cotton, but the Q-tips are easier to get. So wrap around some cotton, not a lot, like this. And if you want to clean up something, you can start with the dry cotton. It cleans pretty good and it doesn't scratch your sculpture. Like that. Or you can also, if you can't get it right just with cotton, like if it's not cleaning, put a little bit of oil and on here, and it's going to clean pretty good. Just be careful, because oil can also spread the dirty that you didn't want to put. So yeah. So as you guys can see now, it has a little bit of shading. I think you guys can see. I hope you can. I'm also going to add, these are some things that I always add, no matter if it's showing a lot or not on the picture. I always add some shade for this part. So if you guys watch Amy Winsow's video class, you will see that I used just brown to do all this shading that I'm doing on him. And for him, I decided to use more of a bluish, grayish shading. So, and here I'm gonna have to put even more because of the beard. I mean, he doesn't have a beard, but it always gets a little bit bluish, greenish on the where they shave it. So we can use that. But first I'm going to do the shading of the face. There we go. There. And also something that I always add is shades in here on the tempora. I'm not an extremely good painter. I don't even consider I am a good painter. You know, if you guys are seeking for amazing paints, you should definitely also take a look at other artists that are amazing painters, which I'm not. That's not my strength as an artist, I don't think. So I kind of like take my try-ins. I don't really have like rules for it. I just try to do what I'm seeing. And I still think I could see so much more than I actually see. So there you go. You see, now it has depth. Did I get right this word? I think it sounded good this time. And I think I'm gonna bake it because either bake or go with the heat gun. I don't really like to use the heat gun, even though it's faster, because I am a specialist in burning my sculpture every time that I use the heat gun. So I'm not gonna take that risk. I'm gonna stop right now and I'm gonna bake it, and I'll be back to give it some more colors. The first one, I really don't like to go more than just shading, because if I try to put some blush here or some color, I have a high risk of messing up the shades that I just did. So I will bake it first, and then I can put every color I want over it, and the shade will still be there. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off, and I'll be back in let's say, I don't know, about how this just needs to be baked for 8 minutes, but I still need to warm up my oven, and I still need to wait to cool it off. So let's say 20 minutes, maximum of 30 minutes, and I'll be back. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining John Lennon's class, and don't forget to leave your comment and do your request. If you guys have some questions about what I just did, please comment on the video, and it will be my pleasure to explain. Okay? Bye bye, guys. See you soon.